Hello again, this is Ken Turner from Milford, Ohio, and we're going to look at Daniel chapter 2. Nebuchadnezzar, he had a dream here, and it troubled him, but he couldn't remember what the dream was. He called all his magicians and enchanters and sorcerers and Chaldeans together, and he said, I need to know what this dream was. And they said, oh, we can't tell the dream. How can we tell you what the dream interpretation means if you don't share the dream with us? Well, he ordered to have them all killed because he said, you'll just lie to me if I have to tell you what the dream was. And it goes into this whole thing here. They said, tell me your dream and we will show you the interpretation. And the king answered, I'm not doing it. I don't know the dream. And then this is the interesting thing here is in verse 10 of chapter 2 here of Daniel. The Chaldeans answered, there is not a man on the earth can meet the king's demand. For no great and powerful king has asked anything to magicians or enchanters or Chaldeans. There's no way. And he says here in the next verse, 11, the thing the king asks is difficult. No one can show it to the king except the gods who dwelling is not in the flesh or with the flesh. They're not human. That's the only people that can. So Daniel hears about this. He's living in the kingdom. He's a man of God. He prays 3 times a day. He seeks the Lord. He fasts. He trusts God. And Daniel goes in here, and Daniel finds out that they're just going to kill everybody, even him. So Daniel requests a time that he might show the king the interpretation. Now, this is the process that Daniel goes through here to get revelation of this dream or interpretation of this dream. In verse 17, Daniel goes to Hannah, Mishael, and Azariah, his companion, which is Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and told them to seek mercy from the God of heaven concerning this mystery. So Daniel and his companions sought God. They prayed, they sought God. They probably even fasted. But here they were, or verse 19, It says, the mystery was revealed to Daniel in the night vision. And then Daniel blessed the God of heaven. Daniel answered and said, blessed be the name of God forever and ever, to whom wisdom and might belongs to. Because this is where we have to come to the realization, man cannot tell us what God is trying to speak for to us. Because even though Nebuchadnezzar was not a man of God, God still sets kings and he sets presidents and he sets prime ministers in authority. He takes them out and he puts them in. And it's up to God what he does and what he desires and what his plan is for our kingdom. For this earth, it's up to God. And here in this situation, in Genesis, here, I'm going to show you a verse here in Genesis chapter 40 and verse 8 of Joseph. And he said, we have had dreams and there is no one to interpret them. And Joseph said to them, do not interpretations belong to God? He said, tell them to me. And Joseph was the same kind of man of God that Daniel was. He prayed and sought God, even though he had been sitting in a prison for years because of false accusations. God brought him out of that prison to interpret a dream that a king had. And here is the same kind of principle. It says, do not interpretations belong to God. It doesn't do any good to go to fortune tellers and sorcerers and some people say good witches or whatever to tell you a future or tell you your fortune, because unless they're Christians, unless they seek the Lord, God doesn't reveal things to them. They're most likely talking to the enemy or talking to a demon or a fallen angel. We can only trust our interpretations to God, mysteries. God is the one that reveals mysteries. God is the one that interprets dreams and interprets things that we may understand. And it's only through the power of God. We're going to go back to Daniel here. He goes before the king and he comes to the king and he says, Daniel answered the king and said, no wise man, enchanter, or magician, or astrologer can show to the king the mysteries that the king has asked. But there is a God in heaven who reveals mysteries. And he has made known to King Nebuchadnezzar what will be in the latter days. God revealed through Daniel what will be in the latter days. God gave Daniel the dream that Nebuchadnezzar had and revealed the truth of that dream to him. And God used Daniel to share that dream to Nebuchadnezzar to know what the dream said. To you, O king, you lay in the bed and thoughts came to your head, and he reveals mysteries made known to you, what it is to be and what your future is. It says, but as for me, this mystery has been revealed to me, not because of any wisdom that I have more than all living, but in order that the interpretation may be known to the king, and that you may know the thoughts in your mind. God interpreted a dream. God gave him the interpretation. And here in verse 45 here it says, a great God has made known to the king what shall be after this. The dream is certain and the interpretation is sure. And then the king Nebuchadnezzar, he fell upon his face. He paid homage to Daniel. King also says, the king answered and said to Daniel, truly, your God is the God of gods and the Lord of kings and a revealer of mysteries, because you have been able to reveal this mystery that I did not know and I didn't understand. This is the thing I hope we can get out of this. That if we're unsure of life, if we're unsure of the future, we can pray. We have a God we can pray to. And we can, just like Daniel did, he asked Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego to pray with him. We can ask others to pray with him, that God would reveal the truth that he's speaking for to us. And it may bring us comfort and understanding of the future. Because many of us at this time, in this hour, are worried about our future. We're unsure. Politics is so unsure and uncertain. The economy is so unsure and uncertain. The world is so unsure and uncertain. So much evil going on, so much war going on, so much violence going on, so much division going on, so much hatred going on. Yet God is still on his throne. And God is still in control. And if we are faithful to God and we seek God, God will reveal his truth for us, and he will reveal the things that are coming in our future. And I promise you, if you are a man or a woman of God, a family of God, and you belong to the family of God, God will be there, and he will either take you through the storm or he will bring you out of the storm. God is faithful in all that he does, and he promised that he will hold us in the palm of his hand, and he will deliver us from the evil one. God bless you.